Welcome back, Math 098. We're doing Chapter 4, Section 5, and we're just doing linear inequalities now. So, really the only way to solve a system of linear inequalities, so again, system means two or more, is to graph. It really doesn't make any sense to use substitution or elimination, and it makes the most sense to get everything in terms of y in slope-intercept form. So let me just color code this real quick, and as a reminder, all of our rules from previous units still hold true. Like this is read as 3x is greater than or equal to y. I would rewrite this as y is less than or equal to 3x. It might even help you to write plus 0 right there to know that you're starting at 0. And then we would go up 3, write 1. And there's really no point to go backwards because we're not looking for a point of intersection. So as we connect those dots, as a reminder from previous units, let me change to a highlighter. I'll do a light green. When it's less than, we shade below that curve. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that when it's or equal to, it's a solid line. Now both of these are going to be or equal to, so it's not really that big of a deal. Let's go with orange with this other one. So this one, what I would do is first start by subtracting x to the right side, and then divide everything by 2. And again, make sure you divide everything by 2. So it's negative 1/2 x plus 4. So we can figure out the point of intersection. It's actually this point, right? Nope, not that point. And I think it's going to be a decimal because their slope is down 1, right 2. But as I mentioned before, it is a solid line because of the equal to. And we want to shade below because of the less than. Oh, I thought I changed colors. Whoops. Let's do that again. I think you can still see it. Yeah, shade below that. But now what we care about, this is basically an AND statement. Remember when we did AND statements before? It's an AND statement. So we want to see where those two shaded regions overlap. So I'm going to do a weird thing and get a black highlighter. And what I really only care about is this region right here. And what we want is points over here that work for both inequalities. Like if I pick a point that's like 2, 0, well, 3 times 2 is 6 is greater than or equal to 0. That's true. Right here, what did I say? 2 plus 2 times 0 is 0 is 2. 2 is less than or equal to 8. So all of these points over here work. Okay. As soon as you get to a point over here, they're no longer solutions. Even though it works for one, the orange one specifically, it doesn't work for the green. Over here, it works for the green, not the orange. Over here, it doesn't work for either, so I hope you don't mess with those. So yeah, this dark region down here. And no matter what, there's an infinite number of answers. So go ahead and pause, make sure you understand this. I could pull up Desmos. Might as well do that real quick, because Desmos will give you the answer right away. So let me pull up Desmos. So looking at 3x is greater than or equal to. What's nice about Desmos is you can also just write greater than and then the equal sign, it'll fix it for you. And then my other equation was x plus 2y is less than or equal to 8. X plus 2y is less than or equal to 8. So it's a nice way that you can check that you did this correctly. And the answer that we care about is this dark shaded region in the bottom right of this graph. Right, so now we'll move on to the next problem. So again, it's a system because there's 2 or more. In this case, there's actually exactly 3. Now, the reason why I really want to go over all of these problems is there's a good reminder in this. Let me start with the top one. Let me do this in this purple color. Is if you were to subtract x over and then divide everything by -1. Well, let's remind ourselves, what happens when you have to divide everything by a negative? you have to switch that inequality. It's now greater than x minus 1. So as you look at your graph, it will start down 1, and then the slope is up 1 over 1. And as a reminder, it's a dashed line when it is not equal to. But where do you want to shade is above, because of the greater than. And hopefully all of those reminders are coming back to you. So shade above. Now let's look at the next one. Now the next one maybe I won't even do like show much work with, because I hope you remember that y equals is just a horizontal line. So go up to y is 4. So we're looking at this, and less than, you want to shade below that curve. So below that curve. So right now where they overlap is this bottom left. But there's still some work to be done, because we need to look at this problem, which I would subtract 3x to the right side. So start down 3. And I'm going to run out of room if I go down 3, right 1. So I'm going to go backwards. Up 3, left 1. Up 3, left 1. So we're looking at this curve. Again, dashed. And we want to shade below that line. Shade below. So where do the 3 regions overlap? Where's red, or pink, I guess, green and blue overlap is this region over here, is what we really care about. All right, so where are our answers? Over in this. It has to work for all 3 inequalities. Everywhere else, it's not going to work. So again, pause the video, really soak this in, make sure you understand, ask questions if you don't get it. And I'm going to move on to the last page. Now, again, this is a system, but it's not really that difficult. I might even begin with just reminding you, if something is greater than or equal to 0, so maybe I'll just start with this statement. Well, y equals 0 is just the x-axis. So that's just saying, hey, we're above the x-axis. Same thing with x being greater than or equal to 0. Oh, I should have had a solid line there, not a dashed. Sorry. X being greater than or equal to 0. Well, x equals 0 is just the y-axis. That's a solid line as well. And being positive is to the right. In other words, we're only looking at the first quadrant, quadrant 1. What about x being less than or equal to 4? Well, that's a vertical line that is moved right 4. And being less than that means that we need to be to the left of that. You see how it's not that difficult once you really break down piece by piece? Now this top one, a little bit more work to do, sure. 5y is less than or equal to, add 2x to the right side, plus 10, and then divide everything by 5. Kind of running out of room, so I'm just going to go right here. Is 2/5 x, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. So start up 2. And then my slope is up 2, right 5. Right 5 will be over here somewhere. It's a solid line. And we are shading below that curve. So where's our region that we care about? It's this trapezoid. Trapezoid has one set of parallel sides. The other two are not parallel. So the only correct answers for x and y are the points within this trapezoid. So 0, 0 works because it's on those points. 1, 1 works. It looks like 2, 2 works. 3, 3, I don't know if it quite works there. But definitely 3, 4 is on the outside. Anything that's x equals 5 is outside the zone, so we don't want that. So I feel like we've done enough to get you ready for the assignment. And please, please, please don't forget about Desmos if you get lost at any point, or contact me.